Hey, Court, you looking forward to Disregard the Vampire?
You bet I am.
It's going to be great. We have got some awesome talent. The actors are on point. The crew is killer. And the script, well, you and I wrote it, so it's pretty good too, I think. Well, we're going to find out this week, because Disregard the Vampire is taking over South County, Rhode Island. We're going to make one heck of a movie. One hell of a movie, right?
Hell yeah.
Disregard the Vampire coming your way this week. Cast and crew, we all thank you. This is the story of perseverance. This is the story of a cast and crew coming together despite all odds, even overcoming death to form a project. Happy birthday, dear Anna. Happy birthday to you. This is the story of people with names like Hunter, James, Croesa, Court, and Muffin.
Scene 42, Creosa 1.
All putting aside their personal differences and backgrounds to merge into one team. This is the story of an unknown man, a man named Scorpio from Pawtucket, Rhode Island, a musician who put on an actor cape and flew in to save the day. This is the story of my cast, talented people with names like Gina, Anna, and Jose, who somehow I feel like I let them down.
Your regrets are for those that hurt other people. But shame is for those that hurt themselves.
This is my story. My name is Mike Messier, and I'm a struggling everything, trying to get somewhere, anywhere, to get beyond my own state and the state of Rhode Island. This is our story, and you can or cannot.
So I became a director. Create, to control.
My name is Mike Messier, not the hockey player. For 15 years, I've been trying to make movies. The biggest obstacles have been money and perhaps my own negative attitude. After many stalled and backburnered projects, I was just about to give up. But
local boxing legend Vinny Paz escapes injury after being a victim in a suspected drunk driving crash.
Luckily, around this time, I had a car accident. I was driving Vinny Pazienza home from a strip club in Providence, and we got hit by a drunk driver. Now, when we got hit, I immediately thought, hot damn, I'm making a movie. So I used the settlement funds from the car accident to fund Blood Sugar Sedace, a feature film with only 4 actors and 1 location.
What world I am in,
You, a waste of my potential. You, a waste of my blood.
It turned out to be a pretty good movie. Unfortunately, not many people have seen it. Now, at the end of the accident, I had a second settlement which came in, and I put it towards another movie project called Chris and the Coffee Girl.
I see you fixating on that one woman, Chris. What's your name, Penny? Penny the Coffee Girl? Chris and the Coffee Girl. Huh. Sounds like an interesting movie.
A romantic comedy about a nerdy guy, played by me, who gets help from a talking pickup artist book to pursue the coffee girl of his dreams. We had a bunch of pro wrestlers attached, and we really worked hard on it, with table reads, auditions, and even an ill-fated filming of voiceovers in Philadelphia.
But I can make it work now. I can make it work.
You got something? Okay.
No, except here's the thing is why does he have to tell Chris that?
Because Chris doesn't see the beauty in life. Chris just is sucked into the gray clouds of life.
Yeah, but that's not, we don't understand that. We don't get that. It doesn't, you're not painting that.
Yeah, there's an opening image of the gray clouds and the rainbow.
Yeah, and nobody gets symbolism. People don't get it. I don't even get it. I'm brilliant. You know, because no, it's so symbolism like that. You know, I mean, you get it in like the movie Seven, where there's always a cloudy day and the finally sunny day is when he gets fucking, is the end. But that's rare. Most symbolism goes over 99% of people's heads, and the only people to catch it are critics. And this is not a movie critics are gonna like anyway.
Unfortunately, me and the lead actor in that piece, a pro wrestler named Raven, didn't really see eye to eye. And even more unfortunately, two of my scheduled co-stars passed away before we could afford to film the whole movie. We could have probably scrounged together a few bucks and filmed their scenes and then piecemealed them into the entire film as we could afford it, but that didn't seem to be the professional approach. Lesson learned: do it while you can. I could talk about the Chris and the Coffee Girl experience all day.
You ever get writer's block?
No. You're the artist.
Now all this time I was ignoring my first project that I really put my heart into.
But go out, get some life experience. That's what makes an interesting writer.
Well, God's Country is a 15-minute short based on scenes from a full-length script I've written called Wrestling with Sanity, which is about the anguish of mental illness against the escapism of pro wrestling entertainment. I'm trying to get funding for the feature to be made, but making a short on a low budget is a great first step.
What kind of budget were you dealing with here?
If I just...
Pocket change?
Pocket change. We scrounge together any nickels, dimes, dollars we can put, but the actors pretty much worked for free. We had 2 cameras, natural light in an indoor apartment that had a lot of windows. That's it. Sometimes I wish things were still that simple. Less people, less money, less time, less equipment, less hassles. And sometimes I feel like if I had just stayed with Wrestling with Sanity, my whole life and my whole career would have taken on a whole different path. But, sad story short, we never finished that project either.
If I produce the sequel first, will it spawn interest in the prequel? And that's the movie I really want to make.
Somehow, these existential themes about pro wrestling and angst don't really go away. They just remanifest. I find myself writing similar scripts for different actors, sometimes even shooting these teasers in color. One time, I even handed over the director position to a film buddy, but with more or less the same stunted results. It's a story about how we reach inside our inner being. Sometimes we need a friend, a sage, to help us along the way.
We're here for your help. We need a budget to kind of help this project along.
Too many projects, not enough money. Too many projects, not enough actual movies. Too many dreams, too many ideas, too many plans not put into action. I'm drowning in my own imagination. I don't have a handle on it.
Creation. The way to create is to create.
I think it's important that you really focus on one thing at a time in order to accomplish your goal.
And that's what I did with Disregard the Vampire.
If the pen is mightier than the sword, then the mind from which the hand writes is certainly the mightiest beast of them all.
This is Cafe Zog, a place I've attended many times as a patron. I have a writers group here called Writers of Wiccanen, named after the street Cafe Zog is on. I brought the original 33-page script, at the time simply titled Disregard, to the writers group.
Something that I'd seen before, but on the other hand, I was looking at it in a whole new way, in that special Mike Messier way, I would say.
I was confused by what the story was about. The dialogue reminded me of literature. The women were objects of the men's lust. Women are opinionated, they're strong, and I didn't feel like the women were portrayed in the best light.
They slaughtered it. I mean, they really manhandled it poorly. They just didn't like it. They didn't understand it. I told myself, or maybe God told me, don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. This is a great script. Stick to your guns. But there was one member of the Writers of Wiccanen group who, although originally skeptical, saw something in the script he could attach to. Court Fisk would take this dialogue-dominated script and add action lines and some weird references to a closet that I never quite understood. We'll meet Court later. There's always some place or group in New England trying to get a film scene together. One of these places, Jimmy's Saloon in Newport, brought together Rhode Island South Filmmakers Group, led by this film cinematographer, Chris Hunter. So, undeterred from past failures and looking for a fresh start with new collaborators, I met with these three other guys, Chris, James, and Damien. James had all this new equipment. Chris knew how to use it, and I'm not sure what Damien did. We got together and we had these conversations about films we wanted to make with titles like Epic Fail and Suburban Gangsta. Well, actually, those were James and Chris's ideas. My idea was a little simpler. It was just 4 actors, 1 location. I needed that location. We needed the courthouse.
Scene 1, shot 1, take 5.
I created and taught my own acting class, Core Acting, at the courthouse the previous summer. So I knew all about the courthouse and all its majesty. Lorraine, the lady that ran the courthouse, was always very good to me. Come on in.
I thought it was awesome. He gave me the premise. He said he wrote the play because of the atmosphere here at the courthouse, and he fell in love with the building. And I was thrilled that we could do something like this. It was awesome.
Across the parking lot from the courthouse was an old flop house called the Annex. We used that place for auditions, to rest, and a few of us even crashed there during the shoot. As you can see in this room, people were sleeping on, I don't think it was even this couch, I think it was a couch before this couch, and we were just in this room. This is the bedroom that I stayed in for shooting Disregard the Vampire. There was a night, I woke up in the middle of my sleep. I'm a vampire!
You can't scream that loud.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna sound like, you gotta do it half that volume, I would say.
I looked to the top of the room and I screamed, I am a vampire, and whoever messes with me shall die.
I am a vampire! You know, just like the top of his lungs.
Possessed by the spirit of the vampire. There's actually an oven in the bathroom, which is a little unusual.
Mike explained to me a little bit about the movie, and the first thing I thought of was the green room upstairs and how unique that room was, and I thought it would be a great room to do things in. The high ceilings, I think, helped a lot with the lighting and all that kind of stuff, and it was amazing to watch them transform this building into the vampire's lair. It was very cool.
It wasn't so much of an aesthetic thing or a physical thing, but it was more of a state of mind of the main character. The chaos, the simplicity, the darkness, the complexity, and tried to incorporate the visuals, the colors, and the textures with what I would perceive those states of mind to be.
We had a fundraiser for the film here at the courthouse. Our former lead actor was great. He even played the piano and entertained people while we accumulated the funds. Some kids stole some money from the cash register or something, but still we had a great time. We raised just enough money for the location fees and felt great about it.
The venue, which was a huge piece, finally fell into place. So it felt a little bit uneven, but definitely moving forward.
This little guy reminds me of myself. He's just so small, but you can see that smiley face, and he's got his little warrior hat on, and he wants to take you right inside the courthouse and show you a good time.
Poor Joe, average Joe with a chip on his shoulder. To me, this has been just a day.
The character of Joe, when I read the sides, kind of struck a chord with me. Because of my own life, I've experienced a lot of the same type of dealings growing up. He's got to make some pretty serious decisions on how he's going to move forward.
You asked me if I would act in your film, and I think you had it in mind that I had the look of a sexy vampire.
What is your humble opinion? Have you been brought into the flock?
We were rushing into things.
Right.
A little quickly. Maybe some of the pre-preparation could have been planned out a little bit more.
We didn't start with a safety meeting or a production meeting where generally it's the director or the AD or whoever sort of lays out the day for everyone.
We planned to shoot in early March, when the tough New England weather usually breaks and before other local film projects get going. But then This massive snowstorm was predicted, and although that was eventually proven to be way overblown, it was tragically too late. Citing safety first, I had already abridged our shooting schedule. Lesson learned? Fuck the snow.
I was going. I want to get going because I was excited. I just wanted to get going. I forget how many pages it was.
About
at the time.
65
pages. And on a normal feature film, they usually shoot about 5 to 7 pages a day if they're lucky. We were pushing it. And now with holding off on Monday and Tuesday because of the snowstorm, I was like, oh, I don't even know how we're going to get through the whole story.
Oh, it hurts.
Pain hurts. Pain is living.
We got 6 out of 7 pages shot the first day. Not bad, especially considering we didn't have a shot list.
A shot list is when a director and a cinematographer get together and they review the script and they look at the locations and they determine together how the camera will be set up to capture different shots, what equipment to use, lenses, how long shots will take. That actually helps determine how long the overall day will run. Shot lists weren't even created at all until the day of. It had to happen that way because the script was being rewritten each night.
I did not feel it was where I was wanted to be. It was kind of a heavy compromise.
Scene 15, take 1A.
I just wanted to make sure I was polishing off the ends as well as I could, even if the narrative wasn't functioning as in 100%. It was exciting, you know. It was kind of an adrenaline rush to work that way. We were just trying to keep up with what was coming together with the actual production.
What are you doing?
Loving you. Loving you so much it hurts everybody.
At the end of the first day, I felt pretty good about what we had. But then I got this weird text from our lead actor. Long story short, somebody died, and he could no longer do the film. So we were stuck without a lead actor for our film that had about 5 days to shoot. Our feature film that had about 5 days to shoot.
How do we find another actor that has the same presence and the same look? You got to find another guy, and we had no casting agency.
Me and Court Fisk went crazy. We started doing up the computer, looking for a new actor, but ultimately we didn't know anybody who could pull it off. So I contacted the one man I could trust. A guy I hadn't talked to in a few years, but he was the one guy I could trust. Jojo Gator. I thought maybe he would have an idea. Jojo Gator is one of those guys that's always up to something, and it's usually not very good. But Jojo and I are both artists, entrepreneurs, and most importantly, survivors of a little ghetto we call Silver Lake, Rhode Island. Even the way Jojo and I met was kind of special, at a place where people go to get better. But I did know Jojo had a new band, and the singer was very unique.
Cut away all the pain I feel.
Points right there. He's got a presence, he can play piano, he can learn lines. So I was like, okay, I'm improving already. You know, it's not unheard of for an indie movie set to lose a lead actor, but it's unheard of to replace him within less than a few hours.
I remember when I said that we were moving on without the former lead actor, one of my key collaborators told me, "You're committing creative suicide." I said, "We're moving on. The show must go on." So Scorpio jumped into that lake of fire with us, and we were swimming towards glory.
I could see where the people who had scenes directly with our lead character would be kind of nervous about it. And would they like to have had another month before? We'd be, sure, but we didn't have that. This was the week, this was the time we had.
That was not just a huge monkey wrench, that was like a devastation because you put together location, crew, schedule, I mean, everything was there. And so it was actually really impressive. You got another actor the next day, Scorpio, and he was great.
It fit the groove so well. Even though the character that he was supposed to play was kind of a little different, but he snatched it right up.
Your foresight in saying, we're not going to cancel it and we're going to go ahead and film it, that forced you to have to find a replacement, and you did.
He that has fire shall prevail.
Sometimes your hand has to be forced to the fire, and your mind starts working quickly, and you start firing off, brainstorming, and you get these ideas, and sometimes there's a nugget of gold in there.
Yeah.
A lot of times there is, and that's what you were able to find.
We started late on the second day to acclimate Scorpio to the movie. Since he was fresh to this project and just given the script, I had to take him aside and work with him, get him to know the character and what he was doing.
I had butterflies.
Yeah.
You know, I had never acted in a film before.
Right.
I have obviously performed on stage during my shows, and I view that as all the same. It's performance art.
Right, forest path to do battle with the sorcerer.
It was sort of, if you guys can help me in any way,
Yeah.
I need it. Sorry.
It's okay, buddy. You got this.
Everyone was so appreciative and helpful, and it just flowed.
So we just kept on trucking. In my heart, I knew I was bullshitting people. We really didn't have a plan or a schedule, but I just wanted to keep this thing going. People had already taken time out of their work and their lives, away from their families and their friends, to be with us at the courthouse. I was stuck in a jam. I didn't know what else to do, but I wanted to do something.
I'm guilty. I am guilty.
Of what?
Of you.
We had a local reporter come and take some photographs. I pretended like I knew what I was doing. He even thought so, but it was obvious to the key cast and crew that I didn't know what was going on. It was more painfully obvious to myself. Things were just falling apart.
Mike Messier is very open-minded, which is terrific. At the same time, though, if you stop and let yourself be influenced by everyone who voices an opinion, then that can impede progress.
I think I screamed at somebody. I'm like, no, one person talked to me. That's it. I felt so bad that I yelled, but it's like, it actually went better because that one person was that go-to person.
She was doing hair and makeup for people and then suddenly had to change it, and then everyone was like, you know, waiting for her.
Being told one scene by one person and the other, it was just like, okay, like, this is the wrong makeup for that. That's not what we agreed. It was time consuming. I think that was the biggest stress thing for me.
There was not one really central, strong enough presence on site.
It was like too many cooks in the kitchen, but none of them knew how to cook.
The schedule, it was a little chaotic.
Yes.
At least for me anyway. And for some reason, I focused on what I call the soliloquies. That
Right.
4 or 5 page soliloquy that just went on. I just had a feeling that was going to be the first scene I was going to do.
Oh, but theater. Theater, that is my love.
And lo and behold, when I came on that Friday morning, that's exactly what we did.
It is the classic embodiment of the human spirit, of the human soul.
For whatever reason, on that Friday, things started to come together. We shot in this room with a piano scene. Anna was playing the piano and Scorpio was doing his thing. Then we shot in the master's chambers. We had a really long day, but things were coming together. I started feeling great about it. Maybe it was because after all the bullshit and crap, we just focused our energies and started to make a movie. Things were feeling great.
It's such a difficult riddle to figure out, isn't it?
What's that, my sweet?
Life.
I was finally getting that rush. That rush that comes when I've written something and then I'm directing it, really directing it well. That same rush that comes from my short films that we can bang out in a weekend for a couple of $100. But I always hit that wall, that same damn financial wall when it comes to directing a feature film, which is a real shame because in my mind, I'm this great filmmaker.
This is the face of a man who has screwed up a lot.
I have these great stories and these visions that I can just tell people about and they get very excited.
This is the face of a man who has screwed up a lot.
Then we go through the process of trying to make the movie. We have table reads and castings.
I hate you and everything that you stand for, you creepy, womanizing freak.
Everyone gets worked up and then the movies never happen.
You don't seem quite ready. Ready for what? Enlightenment.
That's why the last day of shooting was so special to me. For logistical reasons involving the equipment, there was no way we could shoot beyond Saturday night. If there was ever a shot in hell of shooting Disregard the Vampire all in 1 week, that was gone now. I couldn't tell the cast and crew that, fearing they wouldn't give it their all. So we just kept shooting on Saturday, kept shooting and shooting and shooting. It might have been dishonest to not let the cast and crew know that we weren't going to shoot on Sunday, but I just kept it to myself.
Anna, she brought the lines to life. Like, I had to remove myself from the room during that scene because she made me cry. And doing the makeup, I had to clean up the tears, repowder them. It was just such an intense scene. Hands down, was one of the best scenes I've seen.
It was a tough last day. I think, we end at like 2 a.m.?
Yeah,
like the next day?
Right.
Yeah.
I think if this had been maybe a 20 to 30 minute film, we would have achieved what we wanted to achieve in the time that we had. But based on funding, time restraints, location restraints, I think that all contributed.
The set situation was a bit unstable. We were cutting a lot of places. We were cutting scenes.
Scene 26, 28, take 4.
Time, for the most part, was our enemy, and little lack of organization. I think the thought went into the organization, but it wasn't, we couldn't all see it.
Mike is bad at pre-production, which is why you hire people who can make shot list call sheets, do that aspect of producing for you, etc.
You can't make a movie without spending a bunch of money, and don't just jump into it without a plan. Slow down more and think about things long term.
It's been over a year, and I can still hear the screaming.
What is this place? What is the meaning?
Disregard the Vampire happened for a reason, and that's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean a negative thing. And now it's evolved.
You're always going to come up against obstacles, and that's part of the art of filmmaking, is how to overcome those obstacles.
You're a really good salesman. You're a perfect business guy to just make collaborations, get sponsors, connections. You're like, people should hire you to do that for their productions.
He can get a crew together, and he really works well with people.
It felt good. We had a lot of talent, a lot of people coming together.
Thank you, Katie.
Okay, cameras rolling.
Everyone gave 150% of themselves in the project.
The script, the stories had time to breathe.
Right.
And through all the trials and tribulations that we've gone through with making Disregard the Vampire, it's grown and mutated and turned into something that's much more than just that story.
I can't wait to do vampire-y stuff again. Are we gonna have blood this time?
We'll find out.
I say sometimes embrace your fears. And that's what I think separates a lot of artists from other people who, they either give up on their dream or just don't feel they can do it. You have to keep the faith.
I hope one day I'm sitting in a theater beside you, watching the film.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. Get her done. If you want to do something, you scratch at it, and eventually you'll have it all come together.
I can't wait to see the next chapter. I really can't.
If you want to do something, you scratch at it, and eventually you'll have it all come together.
I can't wait to see the next chapter. I really can't.
In the subsequent months, I obtained the whole screenplay credit and rights to Disregard the Vampire from my co-writer. I even had a teaser made for the project, but I retitled the project Distance from Avalon. This Distance from Avalon teaser made it to several international film festivals, for festivals all the way from Transylvania to Africa to Russia, Kenya, and even to Los Angeles, New York, and Rhode Island. Feeling this momentum, I took my case to the local media, seeing if I could get this Distance from Avalon fully financed and filmed. But sometimes I feel like I'm just talking to myself. Hi, I'm Mike Messier, and welcome to Messier Mantra. On this episode, we have a very special guest. His name is Mike Messier. Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me. Now, Mike, it says on your resume you've won 8 Awards in film and television? So are those Grammys or Emmys or Oscars or, Mike, they're not exactly Grammys, because that's music, or Oscars or Emmys. I'm working towards that level, but right now they're local film and television awards. I'm happy to say I've been part of projects that have won awards in Maine, Boston, Rhode Island, even as far as Texas. I'm pretty proud of that, pretty happy about that too. What are you working on these days? Well, Mike, I brought a clip, if we can check it out, from a new project of mine. Yeah, we'll do that a little bit later. Let's talk about you and your life. Exactly, how are you qualified for anything, quite frankly? Well, I do host the Messier Mantra. No, actually, I host the Messier Mantra. So let's get back to you, Mike. What we could do is just show a clip of my work, and maybe that would explain what's going on here with my career. Well, we'll get to that later. Well, I'd like to show my clip if I could. I'd like to, show my clip about, one of my projects if I could. All right, we'll show the clip. Okay, we'll show the clip. It's a feature film script that I'm trying to raise the money to make this story, this project. Would we just show the teaser, please? Oh, so you mean like a trailer or a preview? No, a teaser. It's something before the movie's made, and it has clips of the movie that you're trying to make in order to raise funds for the movie? I don't understand. You don't have money for this movie, but how are we going to watch the movie if you don't have money for it? That makes absolutely no sense. Look, man, it's just a teaser. It's just something you show on the show. Hopefully someone out there will see this thing. Out there? Out where? What are you talking about? To your audience here in Seekonk and in the world. All right, Distance from Avalon teaser right here on Messier Mantra. Let's check it out. Help Mike out if you can with his work. Let's check out Distance from Avalon teaser right here on the Messier Mantra.
There, my man. It's just a matter of time. So you're the man of the house. Did I ever tell you about the man lost in the prison? He was a troubled man. Is that me? Am I that man in the prison? No, sir, you are not. Is that to disregard me? Do you mean to disregard me, sir?
No!
Prisoners of pain. And no one here gets out alive.
God, have you forsaken me?
Time before the dying and the dead reunite.
I've tried to stay friends with everyone involved in Disregard the Vampire. Many new personal and professional connections developed from our experience, leading to new projects, some of which have been finished and some of which have not. Some of these new projects I've even been included in, and others, well, not so much. A few of the key people involved in our original shoot declined to be interviewed for this documentary, or just never seemed to be available. Their silence is deafening. Things go cold, people move on, and perhaps grudges are held. I call it being disregard. I suppose it's hard to believe in a guy who changes his mind every 5 minutes. I tell myself to never surrender, never lose that passion. Time is ticking, and time is money, and you might have enough time to make more money, but you'll never have enough money to make more time. And I may not have much left of either. And still, I want to start that damn war right damn over. Every spent dollar, every false hope, and every naive gesture was worth every last shot. And once again, I'm at that very painful step between achieving true greatness and coming up just a little bit short. So for those that might ask, why take the chance? I can't explain it. You either do it or you don't. This is the ride we take. This is the life we lead. This is the vampire we disregard. There's always hope. As long as I'm still breathing. You can only let people down for so long.